Recording stopped.
Try to sound check one more time. I didn't hear the recording and pause. So we try one more time.
All right,
Recording in progress.
there we go. All right, good evening. We will open the Franklin Conservation Commission meeting for October 16th. And we'll move right, we'll do a roll call. I usually remember that when I'm here.
Richard Johnson's here.
Mark LePage.
Michael Ryan?
Roger Trahan.
Nicole Charamonte.
Matthew Stoltz.
All right, full house. And with that, we'll open our first public hearing, the NOI for 444 East Central Street. We had a continuance request from them. I don't anticipate we've got anybody here, just to make sure.
I see Chris on the call.
Yeah,
I'll just
Chris,
let-
I think he might be here for something else, but Chris, right, we're just continuing. So.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep, yeah.
Yeah, I'm online for Forge Parkway, but yes, we're just continuing
All right, that's
East
what I
Central.
thought. Okay. So Richard, you want to give us a motion to continue the NOI for 444 East Central Street to, actually, I think it's isn't it November 2nd?
No, October 10:30.
30.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
October 30.
10:30 at 7:01.
7:01, I'd love to. I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 444 East Central Street to 10:30 at 7:01.
Second.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
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 All right. Motion's continued. With that, we move on to the NOI for 260 Daniel Street. I don't know if Jimmy was here.
I don't see him in the call.
Was that?
I do not see him in the Zoom call.
Okay.
It did seem in the message he had sent to us that it seemed like he was requesting a continuance to.
Okay, I thought he might come
30
in and
days.
talk, but, all right. All right, yeah, so, right now, we are working with him on helping him find a licensed herbicide applicator. That's his struggle based on his email. So, with that, Lou, you want to give us a motion to continue the NOI for 260 Daniel Street to October 30th at 7:02?
I give you a motion to continue.
Looks like he wants to go all the way to the 13th.
We're going to need to talk about it.
Okay.
before that. Yeah, he did ask, actually, you're right, he did ask that, but the challenge we have is, we gotta get going on.
Okay.
Not weed control, we're almost out of the season, but yeah, good catch. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 260 Daniel Street for October 30th at 7:02 PM.
Second. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
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 All right, motion's continued. All right, with that, we will open up the NOI and the public hearing for Lot 2 Forge Parkway. Gentlemen?
I'll introduce myself for record. Brad Chaffee, applicant, Canford Property Group. With me is Rick and Joe from United Consultants. While he's setting that up, we have Chris from Guarded as well. He's online, so we'll walk you through everything we did. I'll let Rick get going here, though. Quiet in here tonight.
I didn't expect to go so quickly with all the other hearings before us.
Yeah, you thought you were gonna have time to, fortify yourself.
Yes. I put my body armor on, get ready. So, thank you for your patience. Rick Goodrow with United Consultants. I'm here with Brad. Just to kind of summarize where we're at. We had an initial public hearing with the commission, going over the project. Since that time, Beta had conducted a peer review. We've also met with the planning board. We've made revisions to the plan. Beta's come back with a second review letter. And we were hoping to just kind of walk through some of those items tonight. I think some of them, Beta has recommended the commission kind of opine on some things. So I would start with page 3 of the Beta report. They have a Beta comment 2. It's not under one of the numbered comments. And what that Beta comment 2 states is the impacts to the buffer zone have increased due to the proposed planting and invasive species removal. As noted in the variance request, the project will result in 7,600 square feet of impacts to the 0 to 25 foot buffer zone and 5,061 square feet of impacts to the 25 to 50 foot buffer zone. So the site plans did not include any impacts to the 0 to 25 foot buffer zone. And the reason for that is that area is presented in the Goddard Consultant report as the area in which the invasive species mitigation will take place within the 0 to 25. So it's not as if, I don't want to be misleading, we're not going in and bulldozing the area. They're going in to remove invasive species by hand with shovels, things of that nature in that area. If the commission is so inclined, we can certainly try to come up with a note added to the site plan to indicate that, as preferably a condition. But that's why we didn't do it. And again, they're not, bulldozing 7,600 square feet. It's very limited work. We're going in if there's a plant or a vine that needs to be removed. It may be cut. It may be, the root system may be removed. There's going to be things that are going to happen that I can't explain exactly what those are. They are outlined in the Goddard Consultant report.
You guys,
Chris is on.
Yeah, you gave us an invasive species management.
Correct.
Right.
We gave you an invasive species management plan, and that plan outlined the disturbance in the 0 to 25 per se, so-called, if you will. But again, there's no earthwork, there's no development taking place in that.
You're just removing the.
Just removing the invasive
proposed
species
planting
in that area.
and invasive species.
Yeah.
Correct. So,
I can't see there's any problem.
it's, I guess, what Beta is suggesting is we should update the plan to call out 7,600 square feet of alteration in the 0 to 25 foot buffer zone. And in reality, we may cut from us to the commission, there may be 3 plants removed. It's not the entirety of the area. So I don't know if there's a way we can.
It's selective.
Correct,
right,
it's a
basically.
selective removal of the invasives in that area.
Right, yeah, and so, yeah, I think arguably, right, we're in support of that procedurally, we gotta make sure we dot the i's and cross the
Correct,
t's,
so-
right, so probably, I would think a variance request, right,
Which we've done,
right,
and the
and
variance,
it's a matter of whether we follow Beta's recommendation to call that on the plan, right?
and if the commission's so inclined to have that as a condition that we update the plan, which we're gonna have to do for the planning board's final decision, and we could certainly make that revision in addition. It's really what the language is gonna say.
Right,
And my thought was 0 to 25 foot area as outlined on the plans, inclusive of 7,600 square feet within the 0 to 25 foot buffer zone, will be selectively have the invasive species removal, no other work to take place. Something along those lines that we could certainly send along to Beta before we finalize the plans.
Yeah, I think that's the move, I mean, if you can, I think something along the lines of the language we just talked about.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, we get the intent of what you're talking about.
Correct.
So I don't see the issue, this is just.
I just don't like calling out 7,600 square feet of disturbance, because then everyone's like, you're bulldozing the 0 to 25 foot buffer zone, and that's not the case.
And to your point, we could condition that, I'd say, put it on the plan, we'll condition it that that's the limit of the potential impact and disturbance in that, and we've got it.
Yeah, I mean, we can send the language, a draft of the language to Tyler for the commission to review, if you want Beta to do it, however you prefer.
Send it to Tyler and
Okay.
take a look and we'll bit. I think that's the moving rate. So that's
Yeah.
a good way to get at that.
I just had a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're removing all the invasives, I think that something should be put in there about like soil disturbance and whatnot, since it's gonna be close to it's in the 25-foot zone. If there's gonna be any sediment or anything disturbed, then is that gonna flow into, how is that gonna look? And I don't know if some language has to be put in there, I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Through the chair, if I
Yeah,
may.
was gonna say, Chris could answer that better.
So, yeah, as Rick was saying, all the disturbance is very limited and, can probably be better measured in square inches if we're gonna be, really granular about it. But, these are all kind of sporadic things, and that amount of soil disturbance is really pretty inconsequential. But with that being the case, we are still proposing seeding and planting in that area as well to restabilize those soils. So I don't think there's a tremendous concern about, erosion potential. It's mostly going to be, a little area this big that gets a root system pulled out of it, or, a shrub that gets flush cut to the ground. Really very, very little soil disturbance at all.
You're proposed to go in and this is by hand moving.
Correct,
So this
yeah,
is just going in by hand
no
and
mechanical removal
removing
here, no
some
machines.
plants and stuff like that.
It's all, it's all selective and by hand.
Yeah, that should be all right.
And the proposed revegetation component of the invasive species management plan would apply to that, right?
Right, yeah, so we are, we kind of chose a subset of the invasive management area as a whole, because a fair bit of that area will still be well enough vegetated that probably doesn't really make sense to go and stick a bunch of trees and shrubs in there. But there will definitely be some areas that, and we called these out on separate graphics, there'll be some areas kind of more towards the center of the invasive management area that, should get some revegetation, and that's exactly what we proposed.
So you've got invasive species management area, 11,815 square feet, right? And then replanting around 4,500 of it, right?
Right, and I can go ahead and share this real quick, if it's easier to look at together.
There
So
you go.
Yeah.
for a little bit of context, this is our development up here, the solid black lines, the proposed retaining wall, wetland in this neighborhood, obviously. Light blue dashed line is the 25, this is the 50. And this pink polygon in here is what we're proposing as invasive species management, and that's the, just shy of 12,000 square feet. And then the subset of that area, we proposed about 4,500 square feet of planting. And this is the area that we think is going to be, pretty sparsely vegetated once the invasives are removed. As you get more towards the fringes, there's more native vegetation that's going to remain. There's, decent canopy cover that's going to remain intact. So, sticking small trees under big trees doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So that's why we've kind of carved out this internal area, so to speak. But yeah, this is our planting zone. And, we can really quickly spin up, and we're gonna be, and red oak, black cherry, witch hazel, and American hazelnut. So all great native species that are gonna reestablish some canopy in that area, provide some intrigue for wildlife habitat value and food supply and that sort of thing.
So just, and I think we're on track here, just curious, you've got that little peninsula, if you will, invasive species going right into the wetlands. Do you anticipate the wetland, not that much being in there when you look at the revegetation on the next page, or you think that's gonna come back?
Right, so this area in here is under pretty thorough canopy and is gonna have, a fair bit of native vegetation that's gonna remain. It's gonna be more so plucking out one or two things and detangling the bittersweet vines rather than any sort of, wholesale removal. And that's, to be honest, that's really true of the whole area. There really isn't gonna be any wholesale removal. There's, a variety of, really the main offender is the Oriental bittersweet climbing up and choking out trees. There's, you know, some large buckthorn individuals in there that will open up some space. But, you know, by and large, it's not really gonna be, you know, an empty space at the end of the day. We just kind of picked this area as what made sense for replanting.
All right, and out of the 11.8, 7,600's in the 0 to 25, right?
I believe, sorry, so 11.8 is the area as a whole.
Right, right, but when we were just talking about, was the 0 to 25, is 7,600 of that? Rick?
Right.
Okay, just so we get it straight, yeah. So,
You can see kind of the blue dotted line there.
yeah,
it
yeah.
goes-
Right, yeah, this is the 25-foot line.
And I know we're asking a million questions here, but out of the 4,500, do you know how much is in the 0 to 25?
Of the planting area?
Yeah,
I don't have that number offhand. It looks like, you know, a good chunk of it, 30, or 3,000, 3,200, something like that.
okay, all right, got it.
We can get you that number if we're gonna, you know, if we're gonna be revamping some of our numbers just for the sake of consistency. That's an easy number to get you.
Okay, that'd be great. I mean, I think, I mean, conceptually it makes sense to me, right? And thanks for talking it through with the details. Just wanted
Yeah, absolutely. Really, our intention was just to make a distinction between, you know, development as an impact and
100%.
invasive species management as an impact.
Yeah, I mean, this is improvement, so we're, yeah, that's a good thing. Okay. So the takeaway is, you'll shoot over some verbiage, and we'll look on a plan, and we'll condition it.
Okay.
I think we're pretty good.
We have a few more items to go through.
Yeah, just, but that's kind of.
Yeah, and, you know, the plan was to have Chris talk a little bit more at the end when we get to the invasive species section, but I think we tied it together, which was, you know, made sense.
This was helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Instead of, you know, jumping from the square footage and then back to the invasives.
Absolutely, sounds very good.
All right.
Okay, on page 4, comment A2A, beta comment 2 states, and this is regarding the tree and shrub, limited clearing and existing trees and shrubs within the work area. So beta comment 2 states, comment partially addressed the planned call-outs now state that the limit of clearing is coincident with the limit of work. However, individual trees for removal are not shown. Beta defers to the commission on this requirement and whether a tree survey should be conducted prior to construction. So I think what may have happened is the quality of the PDF that was sent electronically with the scanning didn't necessarily show it well. As I looked at it, it's screened, you can see it. But what I've done is I've printed an original print, if you will, that hasn't been scanned and emailed and all, and you know, lost its quality of copy, if you will. So all the trees that we talked about in excess of 3 inches are shown here in the work area, limit of work to the 100-foot buffer zone. And then those were shown on sheet 5, which is the planting plan, but they're difficult to see with all the site improvements. But we have, in fact, provided that list on both the existing conditions plan and sheet 5. And in fairness to Beta, I think it's just the quality of the fact that we don't send them paper copies that are of better quality. They get the email copies, which can, you know, we've had issues in the past with them shrinking and not being actually to scale. And it's just really an electronic transmission issue. So, but we did in fact go out, as had originally been suggested by Beta, and the commission had indicated that the 3 inch as opposed to the 1 inch would be more appropriate. So we have in fact done that.
Okay. So was that on the revised plans you sent in a week or so ago?
Correct.
Okay.
It's,
And sheet 5.
yeah, the issue is the printing quality
Yeah.
of the electronics. They're there, but they're faint. So, you know, when you make an original print off a printer, you get that quality.
Yeah.
When you print it, scan it, email it, it starts to lose some of the screening. And I believe that's might be what happened. I did go back and look at the email that was sent with the attachment, and the quality of it, it's tough to follow, it's tough to see. So, you know, again, we're gonna be making revisions for the final plan. Planning board, as you may or may not know, requires the decision of the planning board to be affixed to the plan set, and then they endorse the plan set. So we do have an opportunity to make some of these small changes, and we certainly would present that plan back to the commission, so you have that plan that has a couple of these small things and, as the plan of record. And if the commission would prefer, it would be the one that's signed by the planning board. So I wanted to go through that. Are there any questions on that? I can
So
certainly.
trees are on page 5.
And page 2, the existing conditions plan and the planting
They're
plan.
just faint.
Do you see them?
No, I think I see them, but I have to zoom in.
Sounds like you see
I
them then,
see
that's
them.
exactly right.
I see them. They're
Oh, I
very.
see.
If you think they're
Oh,
there.
that's them too. All right,
You know,
I got you. Now you're-
And,
But if you know,
yeah,
the quality of
Now we got it.
these symbols here
You're better read plans.
compared to,
We don't want to make it too easy.
We can see it now, all right. That-
No.
yeah,
That's
it's,
helpful.
and
But
I
it's
get it, yeah.
difficult.
When you scan things, like,
See the
especially when you scan and it's already a lightweight, the lines
Yeah,
are
yeah.
already light as
100%.
it is. It just, you know, you're not gonna capture everything on the scan, so.
correct, which is why I wanted the commission to see what it actually, you know, what it
Yeah.
looks like on an original
That's
Yeah.
perfect. So,
that rolled off.
so that's addressed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Next is, on page 5, just above comment W1, Beta comment 2 states the applicant has provided supplemental information to further describe the site, the work, and the proposed mitigation. However, details should be provided regarding invasive species management, the retaining wall, and impacts to the buffer zone, as the site should be quantified. Beta has also recommended multiple special conditions to the commission for the commission's consideration throughout this letter. So I think as we move through some of the additional last few comments, we're gonna see Beta's comment regarding those items in greater detail.
And you got a lot of details on the invasive species management plan.
Correct.
So you got that. Right.
So, and certainly if there's any comments that the commission wants to discuss, I'm kind of jumping over the ones that Beta felt was,
Yeah, no.
you know, addressed and no further information. So W3 would be the first one. Beta comment 2 states, the applicant should provide details on how success of invasive species management will be assessed. The applicant should also provide information regarding follow-up management, as many of these species have an established seed bank and have a high likelihood of new plants sprouting after 1 year of management occurs. Beta recommends the commission include a special condition within the order of conditions requiring monitoring reports of the invasive species management area and plantings. Monitoring report should include one report once work has been completed, and a monitoring report for 2 consecutive growing seasons after management has occurred. Beta also recommends a special condition requiring the applicant to submit information regarding who will be conducting the work, including the name of the company and a copy of the Massachusetts pesticide certification of all herbicide applicators prior to conducting the invasive species management work. Now, certainly Chris can follow up and elaborate on that, but, you know, we have looked at the invasive species management plan that Chris had come up with, and his initial recommendation was that yearly reports be done until a certificate of compliance is issued. If the commission's more comfortable with this as a condition, the applicant's amenable to that, if, you know.
Typically, we'll do a condition for
Yep.
two growing
Two
seasons.
growing seasons is fine. But as I said, it was
Yeah.
a certificate of compliance issuing and closing out the permit, but if you feel more comfortable with 2 growing seasons, that's not a problem with us.
That's our standard.
Yep.
Okay. And, yeah, we typically do look to have a certified applicator for the herbicide.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't, from the research I've done, you can't even purchase it if you're
Yeah.
not certified.
Yeah.
So we can't, us non-certified people can't go in and buy the chemicals that they would use.
Okay.
All right, moving on to comment W5, beta comment 2, a detail for the retaining wall. Should be added to the plans. The commission could consider including a special condition that requires that the plans be revised with this information prior to construction. And the applicant's, working on the structural design of the walls, and we'd certainly be amenable to that as a condition.
Okay, good.
And then W8, I believe is the last one. Beta comment number 2, plantings consisting of exclusively native species are now proposed within both the 0 to 25 foot and the 25 to 50 foot buffer zone, which we previously discussed. The proposed number of, of plantings have been provided. However, exact locations of plantings have not been provided and are anticipated to be determined during construction. The plan should be revised to outline the area in which this restoration work will occur. This could be considered as a condition of the approval. I don't want to speak for Beta, but I believe what they're suggesting is the replanting plan on the Goddard consultant sketch be added to the site plan, just for clarity of that area, and that could be done as a condition, if the commission was so inclined. So I think that, and Chris can certainly,
So we look to condition that as part of the COC, right? So once you get in there, you figure it out, right?
correct.
Yeah,
I mean, we're looking for a little flexibility. We think Chris has done a good job outlining the intent of what we're looking to do in the area, but
till you get in there, you're not gonna know.
correct,
No,
if a
I get
plant
that.
needs to get moved, we'd like the freedom to do that
Yeah.
and not be restricted to the suggested area.
Yeah, that's, so I think you guys good with that?
Yeah.
We'll make it
Sounds
condition prior to the COC.
Okay,
That's
fine.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So I think that addresses the Beta comments that were brought to the commission's attention. Obviously, we'd be happy to have any discussion with the commission if the commission members or the audience have any comments.
I'm not looking at the data, but just going back to some things we talked about on 9.4, location of where snow would be stored during construction. Did you get that in the plan?
That was added to the plans
Okay.
on the, I believe it's sheet 6.
I saw that in the plan.
That's good.
Yes, sheet 6. It will be located to the southwest corner by the road and the back retaining wall outside of the wetland buffer zone.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, good, good. So we're set on that. Did you guys put together a dewatering plan?
We did not, the Beta, if I recall correctly, the Beta recommendation on that was that we would do that if water was encountered, and that would be a condition.
Okay.
They did not, I'm trying to see.
Currently, you don't really anticipate a
That's-
dewatering issue.
That's
We're
correct.
pretty much,
I
there's a
think
lot of,
so.
we're filling up.
Okay. I'll relook at their verbiage. We just condition that if we encounter groundwater.
Yeah, Beta's comment number W6. It is not anticipated, this is their first round of comments, it is not anticipated that groundwater will be encountered when excavating for the retaining walls. However, the commission could consider a special condition in the order of conditions requiring the submission and approval of a dewatering plan prior to discharge in the event that groundwater is encountered. And our response was that we'd be amenable to that as a condition.
Okay, I think you had addressed this, the confirming whether a greater setback from the wall and plantings is required.
Setback from the plantings at the wall?
Yeah, setback.
So-
from-
Yeah, so Beta had commented on that close proximity of the mitigation plantings. So what we've done is asked Goddard to redistribute those through the site as they now have with that planting area. So as opposed to the plants being at the base of the wall, they're now gonna be dispersed in that area on the Goddard plant, sketch.
Okay.
Same number of plants, same, Chris can actually comment. I believe they're the same species we had talked about.
Yeah, I don't recall if I matched what you had shown initially precisely, Rick, but that is the planting schedule that we talked about a few minutes ago. Red oak, black cherry, witch hazel, and hazelnut. So all great native species, and yeah, they'll just be, rather than being right at the base of the wall, they'll be more distributed throughout the buffer zone.
Okay. We talked about the variance request. You guys did give us a vernal pool statement, so that's set, all that. We talked about scaling in the location of the brook from aerials. You guys able to,
Yes?
that's done, right?
Yep, so we actually feel located a section of Mine Brook here and the riverfront, 200-foot riverfront areas here, so we're not
Okay.
working within the riverfront area.
That's all I had.
They pretty much agreed with everything.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
made
it
us
was,
comments.
yeah, kind of administrative, so, yeah. Anything else you guys have?
No.
Looks good.
Good with it the way it is.
Okay. So we gotta get that verbiage, yeah, so we're pretty close to having conditions. You guys are aware with the planning board?
We're before the planning board Monday night,
Okay.
and we were hoping that the commission would consider closing the hearing tonight and conditioning these last few items so that we can move forward with the planning board, who likes to have the conservation permit in hand due to the fact that there's 2 hearings left before the election. And then two board members are not rerunning.
Okay.
So we have a quorum issue potentially with the planning board. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, it'll take us till the next meeting to write up the conditions.
yeah, but if you were inclined to close the hearing and then work on that, I mean, that's obviously up to you guys, but that's what we were kind of hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, procedurally, we really need to get the conditions, write them up, agree on them, then close it out.
Okay.
I understand the situation of planning, I'm sorry that it's
Yeah, no,
overlapping like that, but that's,
Just-
there's no way for us to do.
yeah, it's just a squeeze here with the planning
I
board.
understand,
And I will be on vacation in 2 weeks,
okay.
so Brad will be,
I'll be here, it's all right.
he'll be so.
Brad's just gonna agree to whatever we.
That's it. You're-
Yeah, I mean.
What
I
else
think-
will the
I think
developer and
it's-
contractor do? Just agree to it all, sounds great.
It's more procedural anyway. I mean, I think we've talked through everything. It's just you guys need to,
Look, if it- you know, and we'll commit to, if there's something that comes up that was unexpected, we'll communicate with it, right? And we, last thing we want is to get to the next meeting
Mhm.
and have a surprise, right?
Sure.
This is the way we like to organize it, so we
Yeah.
understand where.
and we, we'll certainly bring the planning board up to speed as to where we are with the commission. I think we're in a good spot.
But, yeah, I would anticipate we'd be able to go to a vote next time we write it up.
Okay.
Barring any-
Okay, great.
That'd be great, thank you.
so.
That'll give us one more meeting with the planning board, the night before the election. No pressure.
Well, it'll be great.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Thanks a lot.
Famous last words.
All right, well, thank you, guys.
All right.
Any comments from the public in chambers or on Zoom? All right, short of that, Michael, you're up. You want to give us a motion to continue the NOI for Lot 2, Forge Parkway to October 30th at 7:03.
I give you a motion to continue the NOI for Lot 2, Forge Parkway to October 30th at 7:03.
Second. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Motion's continued. Guys, appreciate
Thank you.
the way you worked through this one.
No,
It's been
same.
very-
Thank you, yeah, we
Appreciate it.
appreciate the commission.
this is good. We'll see, Rick, I hope you're going someplace.
Yeah.
The mic is on. He's
I don't
like,
know if my wife's watching, so.
That's all right. All right. With that, we'll open up our next public hearing.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. NOI for Franklin Country Club. Hey, guys.
Good
How you
evening.
doing?
Kelly Cardoza for the applicant, and this is Steve Brennan.
Good to see you. I don't know if you got anything you want to present. Last time we talked, you were gonna write up special conditions, which you did. We talked through most of those. We did have some DEP comments come in, so we've woven in that. So I can read through them, unless you'd like to bring anything up proactively, and we can make sure you're comfortable with it, but it's up to you. It's your dime.
I guess the only thing that I have is that we talked about DP had asked for a deed restriction, and we spoke with counsel, who said that it's not a deed restriction that's appropriate here, it's a deed notice, so that the amount of riverfront and the amount of degraded riverfront would be recorded at the Registry of Deeds prior, we had discussed it being prior to the COC.
COC.
But that, so his recommendation is that a deed restriction is not the actual terminology that should be used, it would be a deed notice.
Okay.
That's the only change I had.
Well, we can, and where'd that input come from?
From their counsel, their legal counsel, who said we're not putting a restriction on the land, we're noticing how much riverfront is present and how much is degraded.
Okay.
It would still be recorded at the Registry of Deeds
Yeah.
and whatnot.
That should work, right? Would think.
I'm not certain, so, I mean, I don't know who you guys.
No, this is a legal question, so we would think we'd need to confirm that with our counsel, maybe with the town. I don't know, I don't know.
Could we go forward with it and not sign it until we check with Mark Sorrell
Yeah.
on that one word?
Or the other, so, explain to me how the difference was described to you between the restriction and the notice.
So a restriction would be used in an instance where you're giving away the rights in the land to someone else. So if you were to grant a conservation restriction on land, you would give those rights for certain uses and allowances to another entity. In this instance, we're not giving the rights to anyone, and we're not restricting the use of the land. We're simply noticing how much riverfront is present at this point in time, which is what the riverfront regulations ask you to do, is to recognize how much riverfront has been degraded since 1996, and then we have to check and see whether it's less than 10% of the total riverfront on the site, which we did, and we presented that information to you. So I don't think there's any concern about actually going through that process. It's just that we would be filing what's called legally a deed notice, not a deed restriction, because we're not granting a restriction in the land to someone else, and we're not limiting the use of the land in the future. We're simply saying how much riverfront there is and how much is degraded.
I mean, it's just interesting, because DEP recommended we condition a deed restriction and memorialize the limit of alteration to riverfront area.
So the deed notice would memorialize exactly that information, but we're told that it's not a restriction in the land, because by memorializing that, you're not limiting the use of the land moving forward. And this may be as good as my legal degree.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most I can help you with, but That was how it was provided to us.
Rika Lai, she was answering, she was raising her hand.
Oh, Rika Lai's on it. Oh, excellent. Rika Lai, do you have a comment on that?
Hi, everyone. I mean, she's right in her description of what a restriction versus a notice is. Obviously, I'm coming in at the tail end of everything, so I haven't actually seen the DEP comments. However, if that's what DEP wrote, and this is what another attorney is saying, I would recommend that the commission just verify with Mark Sorrell.
That was my thoughts.
So Kelly, I guess the option would be, and I understand, you know, how the deed restriction is more onerous. You know, we can have the conditions read into the record tonight as stated, right? And we have restriction based on DEP's input and verbiage to us. But if you, and so we could do that tonight if you like. If not, what we would need to do is continue and verify that, because none of us have the expertise to make that decision.
So you would, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, it's okay. I was just gonna tangentially add on to that. The commission could consider, if the language needs to be changed, that a permit amendment, you could just waive the fee if they need closing tonight. So then you waive the fee for a permit amendment to change the language of an order of conditions if it needs to be changed.
So we
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we would stick with the restriction tonight, and then if we get the okay to change it to notice, we could do that procedurally later with no charge. That's the recommendation. Regalai? You're muted. I mean, does that seem amenable to you? You know, we're.
I'm going to defer to my client here, that's.
Yeah.
So repeat what you're saying again.
So, you know, where we are procedurally, right, is we've got the conditions written up that we were prepared to read into the record and then go to a vote this evening, right, and close this out. You're asking us you're asking for us to change the language in the conditions as written, which is fine. We don't have the expertise to make that decision here this evening. We feel we need to consult, and you guys consulted with an attorney, that's fine. We consult with our town attorney, make sure. I mean, and my concern is that we're using the exact verbiage that Mass DEP gave to us, right? And typically, when we get direction from the Department of Environmental Protection, we feel we need to follow that. So we can still accomplish that, but understand the spirit of where we're going. We'll investigate it as long as we get advice that says, hey, that's fine, and we communicate that with you. We could procedurally change the language after the fact. That would allow us to close tonight. And this is your decision, right? I mean, we're here for you. You could close tonight with the language as written, with the understanding that we'll investigate the opportunity to change that at your request. But we just need to do that investigation before we change it. Or we can wait and we can continue it, be another 2 weeks, and we could come back on October 30th. It's your options.
Can you just give us a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
The one benefit of not being on Zoom, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Why don't we, hey, Chris.
A recess?
Yeah, I was gonna say, take a 5-minute recess. I've got the time as 7:44. We'll recess till 7:49.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
All right.
So I think that we appreciate the offer to have you read it into the record today, as you're suggesting, and if we have to come back for a permanent amendment, we would do it in the future, but you would discuss it with your counsel
Yeah,
and let us know.
yeah, okay, so we'll go with the conditions as stated, vote on it. I think that's the right move, by the way. We can close this out and we'll figure out where we stand.
Perfect.
On that legal line. Okay, dynamite. So let me, what we've got is, for standard conditions, we've got 19 mitigation planning plan, 20 erosion control barriers, 22 extra silation barriers, 23 as-built plan, 22 as-built plan, 23 written conformance reports, 24 work performed according to plan, 25 referencing order of conditions, 26 provision of plans and order of conditions, 27 approved changes, 28 notification prior to work, 29 right to impose additional conditions, 30 errata as changes, 31 compliance contact information, 32 weekly monitor reports, 33 use clean fill, 34 no straw bales, 35 stockpile maintenance, 37 remedy upon problem identification, 38 barriers is limited work, 39 limited work marked, 40 no construction materials, 41 inspections and disposal of sediment. We go down to 44 removal of barriers, 46 stockpile location, 47 removal of sediment, 48 no refueling, 49 emergency repairs, 50 leaks and spills, and 51 building permit sign-offs. Those are standard conditions. Oh, and I should say that findings pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetland Protections Act following the review of the above reference notice following reference notice of intent based on the information provided in this application and presented at the public hearing, the Commission finds the areas in which work is proposed is significant to the following interests of the Wetlands Protection Act: public water supply, private water supply, groundwater, storm damage prevention, prevention of pollution, protection of wildlife habitat. So for the special conditions, we've got, and these should all sound familiar, right? That applicant shall ensure that stockpiling materials, including soil, sod, pavement, or other materials, does not occur within any jurisdictional area and be outside the 100-foot buffer zone. You guys have that storage area. Applicant will provide the Conservation Commission and Department annual monitoring reports for 2 full growing seasons detailing the conditions of plantings with ultimate confirmation of 75% coverage and site stabilization, along with associated photos, as well as details regarding the presence and removal efforts. All removal efforts must be confirmed as having performed by hand related to invasive species prior to the certificate of compliance being issued. The BLS bordering land subject to flood boundary at this site is approved for this filing only. Applicants shall schedule with Conservation Commission and Department a site visit by an agent of the town to observe native soils after excavation for basins at the site to confirm design assumptions prior to the certificate of compliance being issued. The applicant shall submit to the Conservation Commission and Department a deed restriction to document riverfront, and that this be approved prior to a certificate of compliance being issued. And we talked about that. The applicant shall provide, this will be 57, to the Conservation Department and Commission the results of confirmatory soil testing for estimated seasonal high groundwater table. Yes, I'm just going to say that instead of the abbreviation because I think it's easier. As soon as it is completed, along with the observations in that regard of the design engineer, and should there not be a minimum 2-inch separation from the estimated seasonal high groundwater table, or if less than 4 feet to the ESHGWT, an additional analysis and modified plans will be submitted before further work and installation of the subsurface infiltration system within the footprint of the 5th tee begins. The applicant shall provide the Conservation Commission and Department photographic backup detailing and confirming the removal of all silt fences utilized during the project as at the site, subject to a site visit by the Conservation Department confirming, actually the way, I'm sorry, I misread that, during the project, and we would need to authorize their removal prior to their being taken out, right? So we'd want to have our agent take a look, make sure everything's stabilized and complete. We'd give you the okay to take the silt fences out, and then we have that as a condition of the COC.
So with the phasing that we're gonna do, at the end of each phase, the erosion control moves a little bit, so that the first phase is the opening of
Yeah, okay,
is
good
the
point.
planning of the construction of the westerly tee, so we're gonna put erosion control there,
Right.
and then we're gonna take that out, because that will be sodded.
Yeah, so, are you using silt fences at all those locations?
We are,
Okay.
because we talked about using silt
Right,
fence
just
there.
want to make sure, okay.
So you want, before that silt fence goes away, you want us to call for an inspection?
Yes,
And would
please.
Tyler do that inspection, or someone?
You can communicate to Tyler, and either our conservation director or Beta will have someone come out, take a look. Okay, things look great, remove them, and then we'll just look for photographic
Okay,
evidence.
thank you.
It was easier to explain it, so that's the way that is designed to read. 59, the applicant shall provide the Conservation Commission Department provisions to be included in the O&M plan for the inspection and removal of accumulated sediment in the subsurface infiltration system based on manufacturer recommendations prior to the commencement of work. And the applicant shall provide to the Conservation Commission Department a signed illicit discharge statement prior to the commencement of work. All
We've
good?
already provided those two, so that's all
Right, yeah,
fine.
so-
Yep.
Helps for us to make sure procedurally we have it in there. So, no issues, all good with that?
No,
Okay.
we're good.
Any other comments, questions?
Nope, I don't have any.
Okay, any other comments or questions from the public, Zoom and chambers? All right, so with that, we will take a motion, Roger, to close the NOI for Franklin Country Club.
I'll make a motion to close the NOI for the Franklin Country Club.
Second.
Vote to close.
Vote to close.
Vote to close.
Close?
Close.
Close?
Closed.
All right, motion's closed. And then, Matthew, you can't actually vote on this next one, just heads up. But Nicole, you want to give us a motion to approve the NOI for Franklin Country Club with conditions as stated?
Give a motion to approve the NOI for Franklin Country Club with conditions as stated.
Second.
All right,
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
vote to approve,
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
abstain.
Abstain.
All right, so we're good to go, and we'll check on that verbiage.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you guys' help. Thanks a lot. Very organized process.
Good luck.
Good to see you. Thanks, Don. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. All right. So with that, we will open up our fifth NOI, which is the NOI for Nichols Drive, Prospect Street culvert repair. Is Derek with us?
Seeing him in the call. No one is raising their hands.
What more do we need to discuss about that?
Well, he did submit an NOI, he was gonna go through that. We still need to get a peer review, we wanted to see if a PO would be cut for that.
Is no one in chambers?
No.
Ah.
Huh.
Okay, I would recommend, thank you, Franklin TV, that's lovely, I appreciate this. Thank you.
Well played, Chris. We're popular
okay,
here tonight,
definitely
Rico Live, we're
continue.
popular. So I guess we'll continue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we have to have a peer review for a project that's already done by the town?
It's to close it out.
Yeah, procedurally, we gotta dot the i's and cross the t's. So it-
We have to review what we would.
So, a lot of it is making sure the permit is done accurately. It was a lot of work that was done. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you read through it, the pipe was half full. but-
Yeah, I know, but it had to be done.
Yeah, don't disagree, but,
Okay.
all right.
So is there, I mean, this is times two now, right? That no show, no,
Well,
I mean, how, if it was a public person,
He did submit the NOI.
I understand that.
So we haven't opened it yet then? Is that right?
Well, this was gonna be the initial, cover.
So Okay, so we don't have to continue it because we didn't open it.
Well, we did, I did open it.
Oh, we did open
I
it.
mean, I stated it as open, right, we just haven't heard from it. But since I opened it,
Oh.
procedurally, we gotta
Okay.
continue, so.
Sorry, might I pop in real quick, just because I
Please.
want to follow up with Eric? So is this the first or the second meeting for this public hearing?
I don't think we had it on
Is this the first one? right?
We haven't had it on the agenda, yes.
Okay, then this would be the first one, so that's true. I just want to follow up with Richard. So this is unpermitted work. This is an oopsie with DPW. So there was no oversight on this work at all. So it's technically a violation. Yep, exactly. So now we need to rewind back to May and make sure that all our ducks are in a row, DEP satisfied, and that the work was conducted with engineering in mind. So knowing that, I will reach out to Derek and ask him to commit to being at the next meeting.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Brika. Thank you, Larry.
Matt?
Yep.
Since you're here for the very first one, you can actually give us a motion to continue the
Very good.
NOI for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair to October 30th at, it'll now be 7:04 because Franklin Country Club has been passed.
Very good. I'd like to give you a motion to continue the NOI for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair to the October 30th meeting at 7:04 PM.
Second, vote to continue.
Vote to continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Now, I gotta say, it's kind of kismet that it actually ended up, the one you could continue.
The only one I
It's
can
your
vote on.
turn. So that's great. All right. With that, we will open up our final public hearing, which was 1199 West Central Street.
Garlic Farms.
Yep.
Garlic.
Garlic Farm. Got it.
Also real quick, sorry to interrupt, I just wanted
Please
to
do.
put something on the record, before people start presenting. I just wanted to put on the record that I actually worked for Ty and Bond prior to my tenure here at Town of Franklin. Different office entirely, and I was, on, not on these types of projects, but, just wanted to put that on the record.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Jean Christie. I'm a principal engineer with Ty and Bond. I hope you can all hear me and see me okay.
Yep, that's great. Hello, Christy, how you doing?
Good, I'm great. I'm going to share my screen. I have a presentation and then I'll open it up to the commission. See if I can get this right. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming up. Yep.
Okay. So I'm here tonight to talk about Garlic Farms. This project's a little different. It's not, a new construction project. It's a resiliency type of project. Let me get my notes here. Administratively, a couple things. We don't have a DEP file number yet. That hasn't come through as of earlier this afternoon. But we did do a bunch of notifications. Tyler should have that record of that mailing. So all I want to do tonight is just go through existing conditions, talk about the resource areas on site, because there's quite a bit, kind of talk about what the project is and why the project is, talk about the actual improvements that we're proposing and what the impacts are to resource areas, and then I'll open it up to the commission for, next steps. I can get this out of the way, right? There you go. I don't know where to go. Go over here. All right, so for those of you who don't know where the Garlic Farms facility is, it's at 1199 West Central Street. West Central Street is down here at the bottom of the page with Forge Parkway teeing in right in the middle there, and the facility is across the street. Some of the specifics about this site are, there's a stream that flows through the site. Originating south of the other south side of West Central Street is Ray's Pond. That pond has a spillway type of outlet structure, which then flows through a culvert under West Central Street. That was put in by Mass DEP only a few years ago. Into, and this is where it gets a little crazy, into a small open channel on site, which is in this blue area down at the bottom. then through a culvert that goes under a driveway, then into another open channel, and then through a culvert that goes through the entire building. Looking at the next sheet here where we start to identify what those resource areas are, this blue line that flows from the south to the north through the building is culverted. It's about 717 feet. It's a 48-inch reinforced concrete pipe. It's been there a long time. Some of the resource areas that we do have on site, coming from this south side going north, we have inland bank, we have land underwater and waterways, BLSF, and then our associated buffer zones in the riverfront area. The segment of culverted stream that goes through this building, because of the length of it, it doesn't have a riverfront area. But then once we get back out to where this pipe discharges to the wetland in the back, that's where we have, again, more bank, but with also BVW, and then our land underwater and BLSF, and then more buffer zone and more riverfront area. Looking at some photos, just so you can get a little idea of what these resource areas look like. They start from that south side in the top left corner, kind of going through those open channels to our outlets at the north side. So why do we want to do it?
Here's a quick question, that
Yep.
if you go back to the pictures, right? I was
Yeah.
looking at this when we got this. So that bottom left picture is the outlet to the north?
That, I think, is coming, the outlet in the north, yes,
That's what that is?
right, yeah.
And actually, would you mind, I can probably figure out the top left picture. Will you just mind going kind of clockwise and just give
Yeah.
us a little context on what we're looking at?
Yep.
Thanks.
So this picture on the top left is at the south side of the facility where water comes in from across Route 140 onto the site into that first open channel. This is the culvert that goes under the driveway. This is just a driveway between parking areas, and this is the second longer open channel here. Can you
Yep.
see my arrow when I'm showing it?
Yes, yeah, that works great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. The picture in the top right is taken from the building looking south. So this is that same driveway in the back here, if you can see that. And then this is that longer open channel. We don't have a picture of the smaller one, but the smaller open channel is hiding in here in these trees here. And we didn't take a picture of anything inside the building or any of the other drainage pipes until we get to the outfall at the top at the north. The one on the right-hand side, the bottom right, is showing that channel, the bank that goes through the BVW.
Okay, that's going through the BVW to the north.
To the north, correct.
Yeah, okay, great. That helps, thanks.
Yep.
Kind of figured that was it, but.
Well, we can always go back to it if we need to. I've tried to colorize plans well enough so that we can see these
That
resource
was
areas
helpful,
well.
very helpful.
So I guess the why of what we want to do here, back almost about 2 years ago, the facility had some really extensive damage due to a flooding event. And as we kind of researched what happened, it was a really large storm event. The outlet of Ray's Pond, was exceeded. A lot of water came over that spillway and through the culvert through the DOT culvert onto our site. And that 48-inch pipe under the building could not handle that much water. So what happened was all of those open channels filled up and then water spilled all into the parking lot and into the building, into a couple of the loading bays and then into some really important equipment that I think was damaged and replaced. So there was a lot of damage. The facility really wants to just do their best to prevent that from happening again.
Do you think?
So what we're proposing is kind of a redundant stormwater system.
Just a quick
We don't
question.
intend to, yep.
Do you think silt buildup was a problem anywhere along that, in any of those?
I don't think so, because they haven't really had that problem before.
Okay,
I think it was, something further upstream that, we don't see because we're not on that, we're not off-site. But because this stream from other sources comes onto our site, I think we were just the receiving end of bad news.
just volume of water, okay.
Yeah, yep. So, by putting in a redundant system, the intent is not to take water away from the stream that flows all the time through the building. We want to keep that going. We want to be able to maintain the resource areas that that stream flows through. this proposed system is higher. So the inlet to this system is higher than what the existing system going under the building would be. So that under normal flow conditions, even small storm events, the 48-inch under the building is still working. This is really kind of built in suspenders approach in providing a whole nother drainage system to provide just that, safety net, so that we don't have these flooding options again. So looking at kind of what the details are, I know that these aren't particularly clear. I do have other drawings I can flip to get a little more detail, but this culvert here is the culvert underneath Route 140 under West Central Street, and this blue right here is our first open channel. We propose to have a new head wall outside of the limits of Bank, but it is within the 0 to 25 foot buffer zone, where it's a couple feet higher than the outlet that goes north, through the next open channel in the building. And then reroute some of this drainage to go around. And it goes, starts here down at the bottom on the left-hand side. And then I just switch over to the right-hand side to show the northern side, which discharges back out to the BVW area. Now, what we were able to do with this, and I guess the reason for this particular alignment was really driven by a few things. Driven by topography. There is quite a bit of topography that would make some excavations really deep here. But then we also have bedrock, which was found pretty shallow in a couple spaces. And lastly, there's a number of utilities through the facility here that also play a part in how this layout ended up. So what we found as we were laying this out, this drainage line out, was that there were instances where we would be able to take stormwater catch basins into this new pipe and provide improved catch basins with deep sumps and hooded outlets versus what there is today, which is neither of those. So we do have 3 instances where we are collecting and better treating stormwater before putting it into this system. I think that's all I had. I think our total limit of work is a little over 1 acre for this. We can get into what the actual impacts are, I think, on the next slide here.
Before you do that, can you go back to the previous slide? Can you zoom in a little bit? We've got the documents here, but you have color on your.
I have the color ones, yes.
Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
It makes it a lot easier, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so it's definitely hard to see here, but we have, if this is the driveway, so the black dashed line is our limit of work. So that's the limits of where we have machinery and equipment, and then this smaller dashed black line is kind of our limits of pavement removal and trenching. So, we really are focusing our work on just the pipe installation, just the manhole installation, and the head wall installation here. So the head wall is here. We do have a 36-inch pipe that we're proposing. Again, this head wall is located outside of Bank, but inside that 0 to 25 foot buffer. As we go along the pathway heading north, you can see the green here. I kept the blue for Bank. The green is the bordering land subject to flooding at elevation 234. We are staying out of that on purpose. What we couldn't stay out of was that 0 to 25 and that, and up to the 100 in riverfront area as well. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because you're not going to be able to see it on this, but we do have all this work is within riverfront area. There is a riverfront area line off the sheet somewhere else over here. I can show you on another plan if you want. But then as the pipe, the new pipe, comes around here, it's outside of resource area, so I kind of ignored that. I can show the plan if you want. And then picks back up again on east side of the building. So what we're looking at in this view is east of the building, with north being still straight up, where we have this drainage line coming through again. Then it's when it enters buffer zone, riverfront area, and the buffer zones, but there's no wetland or bank impacts associated with this outfall. And we wanted to put the outfall as close to the existing as possible. We may need to talk about what else needs to happen at this outfall itself to get water to really go where we want it to go and back into the stream. But we can talk about that, you know, and I can entertain whatever the commission's thinking about for that. Is there anything else you wanted to see on these?
That's great. I was looking through our stuff. I don't think we have the colorized version. I don't know if you.
I did it today, so I don't think you do.
Okay, I feel a little better about that, so thank you. I would love to
You
have
didn't
those.
miss anything, no.
If you wouldn't mind sending those over, that's a really useful
We can do that, yeah.
graphic. Thank
Okay,
you.
whoops, too far.
Yeah, I think for
All right, so then, I told you that we have all these impacts. This slide, this information is in the notice of intent package. I just wanted you to be upfront. Yeah, we have some temporary impacts, we have some permanent impacts. But what we aren't impacting is bank, the BBW, the land underwater, or BLSF. So that's where we tried really hard to stay out of those areas. But again, we have impacts at 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 100, and then in riverfront area as well. So looking at kind of some of the regulatory compliance stuff, the meat and potatoes, we've considered this a riverfront redevelopment project and meeting those performance standards. We are proposing some riverfront restoration, which is planting of native shrubs in riverfront area. As part of the buffer zone mitigation is converting some previously degraded area. It's open, exposed dirt, and making it back to grass with some native seed mix, and that's in the northern portion. I can show that too. But this doesn't really change any of the functions and characteristics of resource areas, or so I understand. But there are two variances from your local regulations that we are looking for. It is that work within the 25-foot and the 20 to 50-foot buffer zone.
Shouldn't be a problem.
And with that, I think that's all I have for formal presentation. I have all sorts of stuff open now on my computer for whenever you have questions or want me to share something else.
So, just thank you, that was a helpful presentation. So just thinking about if you go back to those pictures actually, maybe?
Sure.
So, if you look at, say, that top left picture, right, is that mulch, is that landscaped there?
It's all landscaping, yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm just thinking mitigation here, right? I wonder if rather than mulch, there's an opportunity for, some kind of native seed mix to be planted there, right? I mean, I don't know how attached you are to the mulch. I don't know if those are purposeful plants or weeds that are growing in there. It's tough to tell, right? But I could, it helps us when you're doing a variance to, meet the 2-to-1 mitigation. You've only got 50 feet of permanent, so it's not a lot, right?
Right.
Some temporary, but I know, it seemed to me there might be a nice opportunity to enhance some of the features on the property, but that's a suggestion or request, that depending on how attached you are to something like that mulch.
Aren't you digging all of that up when you go in and put that additional, and then regrading it and putting it back? Or
Not in
most of
this
it?
area. So that, unfortunately, I don't have the photo for that. I could probably pull it up if you give me a few minutes. But the head wall is actually going at this smaller open channel to the north, and the opposite side,
Yeah.
or open channel further south of this driveway. So it's outside of Bank. So that one, I don't think has the same level of landscaped area or manicured area. Around it, it's a little more wild.
Bless you.
So the water comes across I-40, and it comes into an open air and then goes back into the 48-inch RCP that goes underneath the building and hence out into the wetlands.
currently.
And it actually has 2 open channel sections and 2 culverts, so.
There's 2 open what?
Yes, there's the small one. Let's see if I can come back here. Oops.
Oh,
Oops.
beyond.
Sorry.
Kind of
Yeah,
beyond
so
the-
when water
Oh, yeah.
comes through, it's a little bit blurry. The water comes under the roadway, goes to this first open channel, and then another culvert, and then the second open channel.
Oh,
And this is that
okay,
big.
all right, so you got lots
We're
of open
proposing our
channels.
work at that first open channel.
Which is the top left picture, right?
Further up.
It's even further top left of this picture. That open channel is over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
So how long, I mean, Gorelick's has been there forever. How long, but then they put the addition on. How long has that, I believe it was a 36-inch pipe, how long has that been under that building?
It's a 46-inch pipe, or 48-inch, I'm sorry. I don't know exactly how long it's been there.
Has there ever
I don't
been,
know if there's others on the call here from the team that can help answer that question.
has there ever been maintenance to that pipe at all?
They've never had a problem like this before, so I don't have that answer, but like I said, they haven't had this kind of experience before.
Right, so, I mean,
So I'm saying, like,
I
it
would
seems
think
that it has been working well.
until this
Until January
incident.
10th, yeah.
But like I say, Gorelick's has been there for a long time. That addition's been there for a long time. I would think you'd check the inside of that pipe before you go into such a complex renovation, or, restoration.
Tyler, is Rob D'Andreo's hand up? I think he can help answer this.
We only have, besides Ricola, 3 other participants, like in the Zoom call. I think 2 of them may be for a different matter on our agenda, and then there's one that's a phone number, but they are not raising their hand.
He might be the phone number.
I'll allow this one to talk. I'll allow them to talk if, the phone number does have permission to talk if they do want to unmute. So.
Hello? That might be, that actually might, is that Adam Lola?
That's a different participant, this one up here.
Okay.
This is Robert D'Andrea.
Okay, so Rob D'Andrea is working with Gorelick and can probably help answer that question. Rob?
Okay, yeah, so the culvert under the building, I don't know when that one is either, but I do know that we did an extensive camera investigation of that pipe, and it is intact and clear. We pulled all the manholes, a couple manholes inside of the building. We went with a pipe camera, the wheel track time, sent it all the way through. Pipe is in good condition. Now, the sort of the history of this has been, I've been working with Gorelick down there on site since the late 90s, mid 90s actually. And originally, they would get some water ponding, large events. I'm on the phone, so I don't have access to the plan. But if you're looking at the building from 140, facing the open culvert, the left side is an office space. Gene, do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yep, I have it up.
Yeah, she's got it for us. Yep.
Okay. So back in probably the early 2000s, there was a small flood, and they got about 2 inches of water into that office space, enough that it caused them to spend about $900,000 to renovate that office space. And we made some provisions around the building at that location to help keep the water from coming in if it were to happen again. And the years went by, and it continued to flood to a minimal extent, but that open culvert did overflow at times, big events. So what's happened, and I don't know why it's happened, but over the course of the past 8 to 10 years, the flooding has become so extensive that it has done what Gene said. I don't know if you have a photo of that office area, Gene.
No.
So you're looking at it? Well, one of these events, they had 4 feet of flood water up against the building. And it built up, crested the driveway heading, I think that's east.
Northeast.
It head down to, right, east. There was so much water there that and went up and over the hill, the little hill to the east, went down and got into the compressor room and the electrical rooms, and it destroyed about $2 million worth of equipment and knocked them out of business for about a week. So after following that flood, and actually prior to that flood, they spent about $200,000 on floodgates that we put at several of the sensitive doors to help protect the plant. So they've had 2 instances with a clear pipe under the building, nothing's changed, where they've been put out of business and, no production going on, replacing equipment, people are staying home, not working. The people that run that plant, there's about 6 of them that are really dialed into this. They've become, unfortunately, meteorologists. They don't sleep when there's big rain coming. They have cameras on the culvert. They lie awake, they look at these things, and it's an extremely bad situation. It needs to be corrected somehow. They can't afford to be flooded out the way they've been flooded out. They can't afford to continue to sink money into the facility to prevent the operation from going down. It's a high priority for them to get this thing squared away as soon as possible.
Good question on the pipe though, Roger. So,
But I had a question about the pipe. So you said the pipe is 48 inches, and then are you, if I maybe misunderstood, but are you replacing it with a 36-inch pipe?
supplement,
Oh, supplementing it?
right?
Yes, so the existing 48-inch
That's
pipe
the
is gonna
overflow.
stay, and adding a 36-inch pipe.
Yeah, it's an overflow bypass. Gene said it's really not, sorry Gene, but it's really not belts and suspenders. System,
But,
it can no longer handle the volume of water that's traveling under 140. Nothing has changed on the Grellick side. I don't know what's changed on the other side of the road, but
Yeah,
it's bad. It's a
Okay.
bad situation.
got
When
it.
would the
They don't
flood-
want to spend, $1.5 million on putting this drain line in. They have no choice.
When were the floodgates put in?
Floodgates.
Did you say floodgates or something?
Floodgates have been they've been installed on 3 different occasions, and these floodgates aren't water control floodgates. These are flood prevention gates that you put in front of doorways, double doors, single doors that enter into the building.
Oh, those
So
are in the
it
doors of
allows-
the building.
Yeah,
Oh,
those
they're
are,
on the, okay.
yeah.
Man, that's rough.
It allows the water to, if it does, it will build up, and this is a sealed system that will prevent it from infiltrating through the doors.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're about, if you want to do a 3-0 door, 3-foot wide door, they cost about $6,000.
Yeah.
And they've done, like I said, a couple $100,000 worth of that. And it's labor, it's heartache, it's worry, it's everything. It's a really bad situation down there. It's not, they call twice a week. What's the status? When can we start? They can't afford, and I know obviously everything you guys are talking about is a lot of it's over my head, but it's extremely urgent. It's just waiting to happen again, and it's not good.
Okay.
I think it's a prudent thing to do. First of all, having a 48-inch drain pipe underneath your whole building is really,
Interesting design.
that's,
Looks like it worked before, and now it's, you're looking at.
Do you have more questions, Nicole?
There's just so much piping and so much, I'm trying to follow the bouncing ball. And the plans are, I don't know, so, I don't know.
Basically, they're taking the water.
No, I understand what you're doing, Richard, I got it. I
Okay,
got it,
well, you-
thank you. No, it's the, following the plans and the pipes, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Towards the northern end of the, under the building pipe, does it, am I correct in seeing like a right-hand turn in the pipe also at 90?
Yeah, so it does, it's still culverted, so once it comes out of the building, it does turn, strangely, goes into a manhole and then out. So it's still culverted all the way to the bank here in blue.
And where do the trucks, I'm somewhat familiar with it, where are the trucks driving in to empty their loads on that picture?
Coming in from the right-hand side,
Yeah.
their entrance off of West Central here,
Yeah.
coming through the site, back, they would enter this way. They don't cross through the front here, they come all the way back here and use this back route. So they're crossing over that
But the trucks
existing
that,
pipe and our proposed pipe.
the trucks that you can see when you're on 140, where are they parked inside that building emptying?
They're up on
That's to the east, Gene.
Yeah,
That's the
coming
that's the
here.
tanker bay.
Yeah.
Call that the tanker bay.
And then they have a scale that they have to, get onto right here. So this is their main route.
Thank you.
We'll come to you in a second, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll finish with the commission, then we'll
Yeah.
go to, is that okay? Okay.
Has a hydrology study been done, or?
stormwater. What's looking at that? They have a stormwater report. Is that what you're referring to?
You don't really have to do a study if the water floods you when it overflows it.
Yeah, but I mean, there could even be a beaver dam on the other side of 140 and it broke during that storm.
What do you mean, the outlet down in the
Yeah.
wood then?
I mean, we've gotten worse storms, and I just, that something has changed.
I mean, the good thing is, right, we're gonna have a peer review, we'll have a site visit. So, I mean, good questions, right? I think it was great because they obviously scoped the pipe, right?
Yeah.
So I think questions around what the, exit for the water looks like out there. Where's the supplementary, I think it was 36-inch pipe, where is that gonna, is that gonna meet up with the existing? I know you kind of described that as the same location. Is it
No,
at the northern end, is that gonna?
It's close. It's not exactly the same location.
There it
So
is. Yeah, there
the
you go.
existing pipe is outletting here. We get there as close as possible. It'd be easy to go straight across and outlet here, but we wanted to get it closer to the bank and the channel.
Okay, that blue line is the channel, right, that we saw?
Yeah,
Right, that's,
correct.
yeah, that's where the water's ending up, okay, got it. Okay. I know you make some comments in here about the erosion control, and that some of that's on the plans. Would you mind going through that a bit on the plans?
Yeah, let me pull up a different set of plans here. So that I can actually show you our design drawings. Let's see. I didn't want to put too many in our, whoops. Let me get back to that one. Uh-oh. Bear with me a second. There we go. Can you see these?
Yeah,
The
too many
PDF?
open screens, we've all lived through that.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it looks like you can see it. Okay. So go back to, so these two plans, the existing and the proposed plans are set up the same, hopefully for convenience and, logistics, you can figure out plans, but.
Would you mind zooming in? There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's strange that our erosion control is not really shown here, but, I'm sorry about that. That should have been on these drawings better. Let me see if it's on the next sheet. Oops. They're not here. I'm sorry. We are absolutely proposing erosion control Along all of our downstream limits of work, we usually propose it around all of the limits of work as just kind of our limit of work demarcator. I am frankly embarrassed that they're not on here. But they would be running along the wetland, you know, the BBW boundary in this location, and then coming up outside of, you know, that 25-foot no disturb as quickly as possible, and then running along, you know, this is our area of some buffer zone mitigation. In paved areas, it gets tough, especially if we're, you know, still working to keep operations going while we're doing this. So we usually have, like a filter tube, compost filter tube overlaid with, sand bags as our on pavement filtration, for erosion control and sediment control, I guess. So that we can move them easily and manage that better, especially in paved areas. And then back down here, I'm gonna go zoom in a little bit more. This is the head wall area. Our erosion control would, you know, go up to the roadway, sometimes even into the roadway, and encapsulate this entire area. So I'm gonna owe you revised plans, but also plans that have color on them so you can see our resource areas better.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
Yeah.
You do mention erosion control barrier on C201 on, at the outfall of the 36-inch
Up there?
RCP. So you didn't
Yeah,
neglect
erosion
it
control.
entirely.
There's a tiny little line, it just doesn't really look like erosion control. It's not our normal, so we'll clean that up.
Okay. Yeah, it gets, because I guess, yeah, the other potential concern, right, is that, get that concrete head wall, right? I mean, I think I'm looking at this right, the supplementary overflow 36-inch pipe's gonna kind of start at the same location, right? So we're gonna be digging in there, potentially sending silt into the existing waterway, right?
We're not digging in the actual bank in this first open channel. We did pull out of it, and so that you have this open channel that's still functioning and going through the culvert. This is when that fills up, that we're going to, you know, then divert into this 36-inch pipe. So it's a little pushed outside.
Where's the 36-inch pipe originate relative to that?
Right here in this highlighted area. The
Right.
existing one is here. Hello. So I think what's gonna happen over time, well, as long as there's actual storm events, is that this resource area here will get bigger. You know, we'll end up being this whole area
Okay,
over time.
okay.
But were you asking about like disturbance, like when they start installing this, like where that's good, where that?
100%.
Yeah, I think it's during the construction phase of when you
Right.
do the new head wall, just because it's so close to the existing one. If there was any thought about minimizing any introduction of, you know, material into that. Is that-
Better said, thank you.
You should put a silt fence around the end of it there.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what this line, I'm
Was
gonna
intended to do.
re-highlight here.
Okay.
There is this line here that's like this. I think that's supposed to be our erosion control.
We'll hold our water until you get
That's
some
fine.
erosion control.
Pretty minor
So
thing.
to speak.
I got a question if it's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm just curious, so the inlet to the 36-inch pipe there is at pretty much the highest point, right? All the water flows down from there towards the building, and so I'm just curious how much higher it is from the inlet to the 48-inch pipe under the building.
How much, can you repeat the question?
Well, you know, so it's at the southernmost point of the channel, which is the highest elevation because the water flows down northbound. So I'm just curious how much higher the bottom of the 36-inch new pipe is from the top of the existing 48-inch pipe?
Let's see. This existing 48-inch is 230/98. And, it's about
The
2.5 feet higher.
230/98?
2.5 feet higher, yeah.
The other one's
Okay, thanks.
233.
So the new pipe's two.
So it's 2.5 feet above it,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
give or take a line or two.
And I'm still curious about those pictures. If you wouldn't mind, I'm trying to figure out the top two pictures. Are they both looking at the second channel north of the driveway?
Yes, this picture on the top left is looking kind of southwest. This one is looking directly south.
So you're looking at the same driveway?
Yeah, just from
further
a
away.
different perspective. I think the one in the top right is looking from closer at the building. And so you can see the whole channel and what's growing in there.
I see.
I think that was the point of that.
But we don't have a picture of where the pipe's actually gonna go in?
We don't have that in this presentation. I'm not sure if it's in the notice of intent packet.
Okay.
Should
thank
be.
you. Thanks.
In that picture where it crosses over the stream, is that where the security gates are right now?
No. So, let's see, we're looking, that's this driveway here where folks come in, to park to go to the office, area. The security gates, I think, are over here, on the right-hand side.
Okay. I'm just curious, has anybody ever walked to the other side of 140 to see what's over there?
It's a headwater of the Charles.
I have.
You have?
Yeah, I've been over there.
Yeah.
So there is a large, I caught my breath, I was on the bike earlier. Anyway, so across the road, there's you guys, some of you probably are familiar with it, I don't know what the name of the pond up there, Gene?
We call it raised pond, that's what I've seen.
Raised pond?
Yeah, raised
Yeah.
pond. So it looks like it was designed to have one outlet that comes down, I don't know how it gets down the bank through the woods, but it winds up in the state culvert under 140. And that one outlet should control the level of the water in that pond. It's designed to do. Now, I don't know if, I've never seen it higher than that outlet. I've gone over there twice, and it's been at or below the outlet, just kind of dribbling through. Now, if there's a beaver impact, or if that pond, due to development, is just seeing more water in big events than it was designed to see, I'm not sure what it is, but I have been over there. It is a pond, and it does have a designed outlet.
Yeah, there is a,
There's a business that's near Ray's Pond. Do you know how long that's been there?
I don't,
There's a lot in Ray's.
oh yeah, see, there are some additional pictures in the appendix of the NOI, yeah, okay, I got you.
I think the biggest question Relic has, and I have, is, if nothing's changed on their side, then we've investigated the historical channel of the water through their property. None of that has changed. What has changed to create this catastrophic flooding on their property? That's the problem. And the only solution to protect their property and their business to do this project, and not rely on people upstream to either maintained, whatever their systems are, or perhaps they were overbuilt, I don't know, can't say. But it seems to me that they've, you know, for lack of a better word, they've fallen victim to somebody else's watershed, how it appears.
Okay.
Be curious to see what Beta has.
Yeah. I was just wondering I wonder who, so it looks like that raised pond is actually part of that, on the property for that business, which is interesting. Yeah, okay.
Raised pond, what?
R-A-Y apostrophe S, raised pond is what that, yeah.
It's on the drawing?
So,
But-
if I might interject here, I just want to say Beta will not be looking at what caused the flooding.
Right,
And
right,
we
right.
can't look or say anything off-site. We can only look at the project that's ahead of us. I will say if there is some sort of stormwater trespass or damage, that is a civil issue between property owners.
Yeah, more, totally agree, right? More just curiosity is, to the
Yep.
point raised as to what's going on here. But we get it, the point before us is the solution, not the cause, and, so we get it. But it's just curious to your point, right? Hard to not try and understand.
Yes. Yes.
So, okay.
Mhm.
Richard, anything else?
It's a pretty straightforward construction engineering project, solution.
Okay.
So I'm pretty good the way it is.
Louis?
No, I took a look at this, it's, understand the purpose of it, for sure. I think the one thing I was curious about was you're gonna, when you start trenching and laying out the pipe, you're gonna, just looking at the map, the entrance to the site, you're looking to also provide, cut through that, if that's my understanding. Do you guys, are you guys proposing you have the soil stockpile area and then the construction track out area? I guess really when you're trying to phase this out, I think, just don't detour it near the wetland. I think that's my suggestion. But I didn't, I'm just kind of looking to see if, how you would, get into the site once you start working in that area where the entrance is at.
And I think that's a great question for Rob as he's doing the construction.
Okay.
Yeah, well, working in that facility and these types of facilities, the management working around the facility and keeping them operational is always priority number one.
Yep.
So we work very closely with the people on board, on staff, to ensure that, we're keeping the site accessible, plating as needed, if needed, and not interrupting their operations. So we've gone through several scenarios with the management. We have a plan to, work systematically and, let's just take off 30 to 40 feet at a time, open it up, get it backfilled, inspected, and keep the place operational. It's going to be slow. There's a lot of utilities and there's a lot of traffic, and we have to go at pace that those allow us to. Priority one is keeping them in business and working with them.
Yeah. Okay. No, thanks for that input. Really, I think my only comment on that was just not have any of that traffic rerouted to or encroaching on the wetland. Seems like we have some activity, enough activity as it is. So no, I'm good with this one.
Michael, Roger, Nicole, Matthew, any other questions?
Good, for now.
No questions, no. Okay. Nicole?
We just need more information, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Matthew?
I assume this is somewhere in the NOI, but I assume this is big enough to handle the problem? I mean, that's my,
You mean the,
but is that a big enough, from the way you described it, is a 36-inch pipe going to pull enough water?
so, so from my understanding, it'll be, you're gonna use both of them. You're gonna use the existing one is still gonna
Yeah.
be the primary, and then the secondary is basically gonna be the
But if
new
you're
one
talking
installed.
4 feet of water up against the wall of that building,
Yeah.
is 36 inches
Oh,
enough
yeah.
to pull that extra water off?
Yeah, I think,
So I think the good news is that there is a full stormwater management report, right?
Yeah,
that
we'll
get
need that to read
analysis
that,
on
yeah.
that'll help with that. So, good question.
Yeah.
but That, the answers are really lay in there, right? So, but good question.
so,
Okay.
yeah, I think I'm not gonna answer for them, but I figured they take, they get all that information, and usually when you design things, you also leave yourself a buffer. For sure, you don't go full max on it. Is that my understanding, Jean?
Yeah, we maximized the size of the pipe that we could with some of the constraints in terms of ground cover, where the bedrock is, where the utilities are, 36-inch fit, but also did give us quite a bit of capacity, in addition to that 48-inch pipe. So we were comfortable with that extra volume that we'd be able to transmit, or convey, I should say.
Yeah.
But what's the flow rate? Like, the storms that you had, what was the flow rate of the water that it, it's just, I guess we don't have a complete picture yet, so I don't know. It's just, I think that we would need to know that information.
Yeah.
Like, what was, we don't know any of the flow rates or anything for any of the piping or what's coming.
I think that information's in our stormwater report, and I know that that's, hashing through all of those calculations is not something that the commission does. We can provide a summary of that to the commission and just kind of break down that information and get into something that's easily digestible.
Yeah, there's a lot. I was just looking through in here, but we'll get a stormwater analysis on the report too, but,
Do we have that?
Yep, yeah, and actually.
It's online?
It'd be helpful if they're offering to do that next time.
Yeah, maybe do it. So, yeah, I think, so you've got, there is some information in here. Oh, whoops, I just.
What page is it on? Because I couldn't find it.
51 is got some information of velocities.
So the pipe under 140, you said that was 36-inch pipe?
I think that's a 4x4 box culvert.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that was put in by Mass DOT when they redid the road a couple years ago.
Yeah, there's a lot here on estimated flows, so we'll get a full analysis from Beta.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Sir, you had a question?
No,
Yeah, if you give us your name and address.
not a question. Stephen Arnold, 520 Maple Street. I didn't have a question, but I thought I'd provide some information. I think it was in the 70s when Grelix expanded, the town was really adamant or against supplying water to Grelix for sanitary purposes, and they may have they approved the water flowing to Grelix for cleanliness and washing the tanks, but, and I don't know, I'm thinking that perhaps the DPW or maybe there is some engineering flaw that can rectify the situation.
Thank you, sir. All right, any other questions, comments from anybody in Zoom? All right, with that, thank you, John. Oh, go ahead.
One more question.
Yeah, no, wait, we're here, right?
So, please describe, the outlet of the proposed pipe. So, is the intent, the water is just, I guess, gonna go downhill, maybe create a new channel and meet up with the wetland? Is that the?
Yeah, that's the intent. You know, I think what we might want to consider doing is, you know, I didn't want to do this and just presume that we would do this, but extend this riprap channel down to the BVW line where the grade breaks, and we're not going down the slope with, you know, just water, we would want it protected. But if the commission's amenable to, you know, extending this, I can't draw on this one, but extending the riprap channel down to the BVW line where that becomes a little flatter, to help better direct water, dissipate energy, you know, all that good stuff before it actually hits the resource area.
Yeah, certainly something to consider. Thank you.
And then that stone would be both of the old existing one, the new one would be like kind of joining up. Is that what,
Yeah.
close to joining up?
Close to, you know, I would expect it would be closer to this 1A6 flag. You know, but maybe that new channel is gonna create itself to extend between that 1C2 and that 1A6 here, because there is that head wall that holds that pipe end that we don't want water flowing over or through.
Well, the new proposed one is within about
Existing.
30
This is the
feet of the
existing one, so
existing.
this is this one here. Whoops. Sorry. This one here at the outfall, at the back.
That's the.
And
We
it's got
want water to
riprap
come in
it.
over here on the left-hand side of that.
They're rip-wrapping the end of it, so.
But if you look at those slow capacities, not that it happens a lot, but the inbound capacity of that head wall pipe is a lot greater than the outfall capacity in the northern end. I guess that's the problem, right? So, at any rate. All right. It's an interesting point you make, Nicole. If you, I mean, the anticipated is pretty close, but the capability is a pretty big delta. So, all right. So, nothing else, we'll continue this till October 30th at 7:05. Richard, you want to give us a motion to continue this NOI 1199 West Central till October 30th at 7:05?
I will. I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 1199 West Central Street, Garlic Farms, to October 30th at 7:05.
Second that.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue?
Vote to continue?
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys.
you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate if you send over the revised plans with the nice color for us. That'd be helpful
Got it.
in the erosion controls. Thank you for doing that.
You got it.
And
Thank
appreciate
you.
your presentation tonight. Appreciate you coming in. All right. And that closes our public hearings. So next we're on to MBZA's. We've got 381 Prospect Street. I don't think we have anybody here from there. 381 Prospect, Moody. I would say that I haven't seen, driving by that, any growth of the planting. So I think you contact him. You know, we've had a couple of rain events. Nothing seems to be growing. So anything I planted 5-6 weeks ago seems to be growing pretty well. So not sure what the challenge is there, but we'll need to.
You didn't use contractors.
Yeah, I don't think so. So we need to follow up with Rudy. Yeah. So I think technically we need to continue that. So Louis, you want to give us a continue for the MBZA for 381 Prospect?
I'll give you a motion to continue the MBZA for 381 Prospect Street for October 30th at 7:06.
We don't even need
We don't even need that.
Okay, but that was
We're just
good.
We'll second that,
All
though.
right,
Okay.
And vote to continue.
continue.
We'll vote to continue.
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 All right, Adam Lola, were you able to hang on?
He was here until about 5 minutes ago.
I know, I
so-
just saw, I think he might have, let's see, I think he sent me an email, I feel.
305 Union Street? Oh, jeez.
We knew. Let me see.
That's unreal.
Well, he did send an email. I'll tell you what, let me do this real quick. So we can phone a friend here.
Is this Augustine Lane, Brook Lane?
Yes. I guess not. All right, well, it was worth a shot. Okay.
Did we get any response at all?
Yeah, actually, so as a way of an update, a lot of communication, actually all of it good. The resident was very apologetic and amenable to rectifying the situation. So that's good news. Lola's Landscaping did the work, and Adam Lola, and the resident, Mark, I think it's Fryermuth, he's contracted Adam Lola to rectify the situation for the work he did. Adam had a couple questions, so I suggested maybe at 10 tonight. We went a little longer than I anticipated. He had to bounce. I feel bad. His question was more around, and I think actually talking to Bricolai, we answered this. What we had asked is to remove the what we thought looked like mulch down to 1/4 of an inch and replant it. He came back saying, did we realize it was biodegradable wood chips? The problem is that still would smother and hamper any plantings, right? We want to get that area replanted, not mulched or wood chipped. So we do need to get it removed. But
Can he plant on top of the wood chips if they're biodegradable?
According to Bricolai, no. That was what we investigated in his request, and apparently not. I can't say I'm a wood chip expert.
Some grass they grow in there.
It's tough to accomplish, so we're gonna need to ask him to remove that, but he did say he could use the wood chips in another job, so he's gonna recycle them. The resident was amenable to stop using that path, reseed that, pull the stuff out of the wetlands. I think the enforcement order had a significant impact on the psyche, so, you know, at any rate, maybe I shouldn't say it, but he was very pleasant on the phone and amenable to rectifying the situation.
It's going in a positive direction.
Very much so, and I just feel bad. This guy, Adam Lola, who's a great guy, just wanted a little input, but I'll see if I can connect with him. So that's it, Augustine Brook. Then we have 305 Union Street.
This is ridiculous. This is.
Yeah,
Every time we come up to this, they say, well, we're almost there. We've been almost there for 2 years.
We were holding it open for Bricolai's return. So now we're gonna see some movement.
Is there any input?
Bricolai, you have a comment on?
No.
No.
I
No, and I don't want to.
Take your time
No,
to answer.
I do. So remember, it was being sold.
Right.
So we had to go through the sale. It was being purchased as is. Now it's going through, what's the word I'm looking for? Like revitalization, economic development, I guess. So they're looking at options there, but the issue, Richard, is that MBTA, there's tracks that abut their access. They can't get approval through MBTA to go through the back fence to get to where the cistern is. They have to demolish parts of their building to get to the cistern.
Oh, jeez.
So it really needs to be phased is the thing. And then a part of this 2 years, you're waiting on DEP to respond for 9 months. So it's actually been almost 4 years because it was when I started. But
Oh, gosh.
the this is unfortunately one of those things. I would like to also remind the commission that we don't have the enforcement order necessarily because we expected them to do the work immediately. We have the enforcement order to compel them to continue down this path. We have new owners, we have, you know, we've had DEP layoffs and shutdowns in this time frame. They're slow anyways on these sort of things. Right, you have the construction issues, so it's just, it seems like a lot, and it is, but to me, we're not outside of the realm of how long it would have taken this to happen.
That was a good update, at least we understand a little
I
bit
feel a
more.
little better.
I'm just curious, so does the enforcement order go to a property or to an owner?
It goes to an owner. It's to the new owner,
Oh, okay, so it's been updated for the.
tied to this property. Yep, so for example, if an LLC owns a property, it goes to the LLC for that property.
Thanks.
Yeah, just like with Abe Bogus House now attached to the deed and title of that. So if he goes to sell it, somebody's gonna see that and know that they either have to take that on or it has to be rectified.
But we don't need to change we just continue the original one, even though it has an ownership change, and that's
Good
okay.
question. Yeah.
No, we have the new owners on the enforcement order. It's been going to the new owners.
Thank you.
Good question.
Well, I'll give you a motion then to continue the enforcement, violation and enforcement order for 305 Union Street for another 30 days.
Hey, Rico, I have a
Second.
question. Can we go out 60 days?
Do this one for 30 and let me get a pulse from Mark Sorrell. He's the one who recommended 30.
Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Second that?
I vote to continue the enforcement.
Vote to continue?
Continue.
Extend?
Extend.
Extend.
Continue.
All right, the enforcement order is extended. Good call. All right. We have the minutes from October 2nd. I looked through them, I used them to help with some of this stuff. All look good to me. Any?
Look good to me.
Okay.
The,
You good?
the what? The minutes?
Yep.
I did have an add to the minutes, when, this is for the Franklin Country Club. I think it's, the verbiage when I asked the question about, had anything changed from, since when they referenced the last survey to, when they're put it on the plans, that just, you know, they responded as, nothing has changed, so, but it wasn't on the minutes, so I just want that to be added in there. That, information that nothing had been changed. I can give you the verbiage.
Yeah, if you want my email.
But I did
Oh, good
I
catch.
did ask the question, and the applicant had answered that nothing's changed, but I just want to make sure that.
Actually, it was
the-
pretty important too, so, yeah.
That was part of the whole, getting the POS and all that, just
That-
making sure we were referencing
That's right, yeah, I'm glad you caught
accurate
that.
information.
Okay, so you'll shoot that to
Yep.
Tyler? Thank you, Louis. All right, Michael, you want to give us a motion to approve the minutes as with the recommended amendment?
I'll give you a motion to approve the minutes for October 2nd, 2025, with the amendment as suggested by Commissioner Puga.
Perfect. Second that?
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve?
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
All right, they're approved. And then, Anna, we've got site visits.
Yeah,
Thanks for hanging with
one
us.
site visit. Yeah, no worries. I just had one
Chris,
site
why did
visit.
you have to show the empty chairs?
Yeah,
Just joking.
So I can always,
Just joking around. All
big
right.
crowd tonight.
That's a,
Yeah.
we had one
Yeah, so I
person.
just had one site visit this week. 15 Northern Spy Road. So basically the homeowner wants to install a shed. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
You see the, okay, so the homeowner wants to install a shed. It's a 10 by 12 shed. He proposed it in these two locations. He decided this is the one he wants to install it in, which is better because the
Yeah.
wetland resource areas are over here. So this area is within the 50 to 100 buffer zone. Basically, he said it's gonna just be a shed with like a small swale around it that will be filled with like crushed stone. So we had suggested this can be filed as an MBZA.
Excellent. Well, you picked the right spot. That's good news, right?
Yeah, he said it was easier to get a snow blower out to do his driveway, so that was
It's more
why he wanted to
convenient.
do that.
Good enough reason.
Good thinking, yeah,
Right.
right there.
Okay,
Of course, it's not gonna snow anymore, but
don't say that. All right, so, well, that's good, so we'll await that MBZA.
does he file the MBZA, or do we have to notify him?
I'll notify him.
Yeah, we'll show
Okay,
him.
thank you.
County Commission confirm.
And then, last, thank you, Anna.
No
And you're,
problem.
as always, you're always welcome to spend more time
Yeah.
with our
Yeah.
captivating
About the
company, but
farmer's
you're
market.
also welcome to sign off.
Okay, I might be done for the night, but thanks, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for having me.
She saw the audience,
Hi.
didn't she?
Yeah.
And I help.
Last thing is just farmer's market tomorrow. So I'll be there at 1:30. We've got our spot. We'll get that set up. I actually I'm sorry about this, I have to leave at 2:30 now. So I feel bad, but I will get everything set up. But I think,
I'll be there, I'll be there, from 2 to maybe 3:30, I think, so.
we were promised Maple may come by as an incentive, so that's why Louis coming. Just, not because of you and I, but because he wants to see.
Yeah, I want to see it.
And I think
I'm coming at, well, I should come at, I was coming at 4, but maybe I should get there earlier. Everybody's,
up to you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The more the merrier.
I thought it was gonna be 2 to 4, so is.
You're 2 to 4,
Okay, so who's gonna be 4 to 6?
so.
I'm gonna be there.
Oh, I thought you said you were leaving at 4, sorry. Okay.
All right, so,
So what, I'll pick up the thing, put them in my truck, and
just bring it to the next meeting and I'll grab it from you, and, unless you want to keep it in your garage. I got plenty of room.
Sounds like a no.
The funny thing is, it was my awning to begin with, and I was trying to get rid of it, so I
I know
did
you
the
were.
Conservation Commission, and now it's back in my garage. So, it's kind of comical, but at any rate. So if you ever have a tailgating event, you want to take it off my hands.
please.
Official Concom, at any rate. So we get a plan. I think you have the flyers.
I'll be able to provide those, sir, after the meeting. Just
Okay.
haven't had a chance to pick them up, so.
But if you want to do it tomorrow, I can swing by and grab them on the way over there if that's easier for you.
I mean, I have them right on the counter downstairs, so I can just, hand them off to you guys.
Oh, they're ready to go. Oh, I thought you said you were gonna print them off. I'm like, it's visions you down.
I mean, that is my fault.
Okay, so we can
Tyler
grab,
was very efficient.
okay. All right, and Matthew, I don't know if you know what we're talking about, actually?
Only vaguely.
Okay, so, we decided to, do a booth at the farmer's market tomorrow afternoon. We'd love to have you, don't feel you have to be there. We'll be there in some shape, form, or fashion from 2 to 6. We did it, I can't remember if it was last year or a couple of years ago. It was a nice opportunity to do community outreach. People have questions. Nicole did a nice job putting together some flyers. Actually, you did one too, right?
Yeah.
And,
Turtle crossing.
Yep. So, you know, help people understand who we are and what we actually do. So, you're more than welcome to be there any point in time if you'd like. Thank you. Yeah.
And if you got garage space.
And if you want an awning, I know you get one really good. Okay.
Can we DPW's gotta have a.
Oh, I'm joking, it's fine, it just sits in the corner of my garage.
Oh, okay.
It's not, I like making a big deal about it for.
That's fine.
Yeah, but thank you. I think that's it. Are we good? All right, who's up? Roger, you wanna, there's a motion to adjourn, or all in favor?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Good deal. We